Why did you decide that you wanted to study abroad?
It was a very spontaneous decision, actually. I just feel like I needed a sort of a change of pace in my life, and I feel like if I were to study abroad and like maybe get to improve my English too, that would also be great. But I really felt like I needed a change of scenery almost, and I really got that here. So.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I suppose you spend years in your own country, in your own school, and you never get an idea of what it might be like somewhere else, even though it's probably a little bit scary initially to think of getting out of your comfort zone. But it's so rewarding when you do.
It is.
Yeah, I suppose why Ireland? Was there any particular reason?
I feel like I am in TY, and I really like the concept of TY. Like no other country besides Ireland has anything even similar to it. And getting to do all the workshops, getting to go on different trips, and just like having the experience of sort of having a break from all the academic stuff as well is very nice, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I think I completely understand, because TY is very specific to Ireland, transition year, and initially I was a little bit unsure of myself about transition year. Was it a worthwhile year, or should you just move on? But what I have seen from feedback from yourself and from other students is that it is a transition year. It's a year of discovery, and you get to discover a lot about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, and maybe have a little time, a little bit of respite from academic studies to really see how you're going to move forward. And I do think at the end of the year, you're a very different person to the beginning of the year.
Definitely. I also really saw that with myself. I feel like I grew a lot through TY.
And in fact, Justina, from the person that I met when you arrived to even now, only months later, you're a swan, so you've totally blossomed. Didn't you in fact extend your course?
I did. I liked it so much. I chose to stay for like 2 months longer.
Which is really big actually, because initially I'm sure there was uncertainty, which there always is, and a settling in period. But I was so delighted when you decided to extend, because it meant for me that you were happy. Yeah, and I think the school that you chose, Rockford, is a really good fit for you. Do you agree?
My friends today told me that I will always be a Rockford student. I fit in there so well. They sometimes forget I'm an international student.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so. It's a lovely school they have a wonderful TY program. And I think that's what makes it interesting. They're so lucky that they take on so many projects for the transition year for the students to get involved in, and that's what makes it, I suppose, a more fulfilling year for you.
It's also a very welcoming school. The teachers are very welcoming and accommodating to the international students. The students are also all great. So.
Do you mind sharing with us which school you're in at this moment?
I go to Rockford Nana. It's in Blackrock.
Oh, nice, very nice.
It's
a very nice area.
And the teachers are particularly nice there. They're very friendly and open. And I know even the secretary there, Tina, she runs the show. She's the main one. So it's just a lovely. And even students that have gone to Rockford have been happy. They've been really happy. So yeah, I can understand. So would you share with us the day in the life of an international student?
Oh, please. I live in Valentine, so I have to get up fairly early for school at around 5:30. I get dressed, I put on my school uniform, I go to have breakfast in the kitchen, and then I get my bus, I tap on with my leap card, and I get another bus in Dundrum, and then I'm in school. In the morning we have a bit more time, so I like to go to Greenville with my friends. It's a cafe that's just around the school. We have a coffee and chat for a bit, and then we go into school. We have class and break. I usually we usually start with basic English, which is a replacement program for Irish for the international students. And today we have music, science, enterprise is great.
What's that just now?
You basically run a mini company. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
My classmates were selling bracelets today, so I got a bracelet with the ISI card.
That's so pretty.
Show us.
Isn't it?
Oh.
That's so lovely. I like the mini company idea.
Yeah.
I really do. It's for all the budding entrepreneurs.
Does it help you to choose your subject when you get, like, you're gonna enroll to university? Does it
Yeah,
help?
I think it really does, especially enterprise, because if you want to do business, it is basically like doing business in college. You have to like be careful with taxes and like making a company. Like all the TY subjects are great with that. We have career guidance too, which is sort of similar to that.
So you start your day at maybe 8:45 in school
Yes, yeah.
and finish your day at 3:45?
3:40.
Yeah.
3:30.
3:30, yeah. So then you take the bus home?
I usually hang out with my friends in Dunleary, that's at the seaside. And after that I usually go home. I'm home around 6 or so. Make dinner, I do a bit of homework and then I go to sleep.
Good. That
Yeah,
sounds like a very busy day.
it is sometimes.
Yeah. So at school, what would your would your favorite subject be?
I would, it is surprisingly not enterprise. It is SBHE.
Oh, you have to explain what that is. Do you have that at home?
We don't, which is why I like it so much. I don't know what it stands for, but it's a very flexible, sort of free subject. You can discuss a lot of things, a lot about like mental health and well-being.
It's more like psychology.
Yeah, I think it's social, physical health education.
Yeah.
And I know my own daughters have SPHE and CPHE or CSPE. So I think it is a really good class for the times that we live in, because I know from other students that there's a lot of mindfulness, well-being, weaving well-being, and how to deal with possibly some like stresses that have, I suppose, come into our lives, and particularly for teenagers and students, how to deal with those stresses positively.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice class actually.
Yeah, we also had last week, we did a bunch of study methods which were also very useful. So you learn a lot about yourself and how to deal with things, to handle stress. It's very useful, but it's also a very like relaxing class.
Yes.
You get to wind down after like a long day.
Yeah, and one of my students had said to me that she's Italian, and she said that in Italy they're just told when they're studying, sit down, study for 5 hours, keep studying. But she's been given study methods here that she'll then be able to bring home for when she's doing big exams. I think she did it in career guidance, not career guidance, maybe it could have been career guidance, but in one of her classes. So it's something that, it's a new life skill that she's learned, which will help her now, but also if she goes to university. So what would your favourite, I know that you did a musical in school.
Oh yes, that was great. We did a TY musical, The Addams Family. I sadly joined a bit too late to actually be in the musical. But I was there for the week where we actually held the production. It was together with a boys' school that's near us. They're called Oaklands College. So we basically go there. The musical is held in the sports hall, and I did the makeup, the lighting, all the other little things. And I really loved it. It was great because you got to meet so many people, and everyone looked great in the costumes, and they've been working towards this for the whole year. Everyone was very like nervous, but it was great because all the work finally paid off. Everyone was like beaming, happy. While we had break or an interlude in the musical, everyone came up to the hall and we all basically like celebrated. Yeah.
It's nice. It's lovely to do something because you feel all that energy that's built up with the performers, and but also I think there's a part for everybody, which is really nice because if you're not participating on stage, you're backstage, but there's something for everybody to do. And I suppose that's something that you may not have, well, you probably wouldn't have come across in your school if you were to.
Oh no, definitely not. A lot of schools actually have TY musicals, which I think is great. It helps with like team building, you're also a bit more organized. People also really love like acting on stage.
They point out in person. So you can have white people or shy people that take on a whole other persona, and they're, it gives people a chance to shine, and maybe some introverts a chance to become a little bit of an extrovert, and I think it's a great idea. So the differences between here, your school here, and your school at home, if you were to pick maybe 2 or 3 differences?
I feel like everything, maybe because we're in TY, but a lot of things are more relaxed around here. I mean, the thing is, with the school uniform and the pretty strict dress code, otherwise it's not, but the teachers are very friendly and also very open to giving you like alternatives if you don't want to do something or anything else. The second one would actually be the school uniforms. I really do miss wearing my own clothes to school.
I know, it's very strange when you come from a situation where there isn't uniform, but I think you're right. So everything seems very strict, so the uniform, the dress code, but actually then behind it there's a relaxed, not a totally relaxed attitude, but it is very nice. It's what I hear from most of my students, that it's quite chilled in school, that you can address the teachers, not necessarily my friends, but you can address them in a very friendly manner. They're quite happy to have a chat. Find out how your weekend went, that kind of thing. Now, you have something very special that you did when you were here, because our students have the opportunity to take the Cambridge exam, and you did, and you came on top.
That's what we want to know. Hooray! Congrats!
So I'm just congratulating Christina on her amazing results. And was it a C?
C2.
A C2.
The highest level you can get.
Tell us the secret.
Yes. So what are the secrets? Because that was one of my questions. How did you prepare for the exam?
I think a very important thing is it might seem easy when you're on an island, but like speaking English. Make friends with the Irish people, talk to them, talk to your host parents when you're here. And also, I feel like another really important thing is to practice. In the English classes we have here, we're giving a lot of materials that are very similar to the Cambridge test, and sort of seeing what it's structured like, what kind of exercises can come, and what kind of difficulties you can have in the Cambridge exam before actually taking it is really important. Because I found out there's a section in the exam where you sort of have to fill in the gaps, and I found that very difficult. So I practiced that a bit more, and it worked.
It did work, and it was a fantastic result. But I think those tips are really good. It's about practicing, and you're right. It seems like, speaking English in Ireland is something that you should be doing, but a lot of the time people sort of maybe don't practice as much as they should. They think that they're here and that's enough to be doing, but actually with your teachers, with your schoolmates, with your friends, the English lessons here are extremely good to prepare you for the Cambridge exam, which a lot of people probably don't realise. But I think they're really good tips, Justina, and you were fantastic.
Do you mind sharing with us, like, at ISI Dublin, the program does help you something towards your goal in Cambridge? Like in the class here, do you mind sharing some experience or your class that will help you or reach your goal in Cambridge?
I think with what Justina had said as well, that the lessons here prepared her for the Cambridge exam.
Oh.
Yeah, they really did.
They really did.
Yeah.
And without ISI, I obviously also wouldn't have had the opportunity to even do my Cambridge exams here.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
great, and that will be on your record forever. So I think it's a great. A lot of the students may not even think of taking the exam, but when you're here, it's just such a great opportunity.
It is.
Yeah, I think so. Now, tell me a big question. You have to be very honest. Did you feel supported by ISI throughout the program? I mean, as honest as you can actually.
I think initially I didn't.
Okay.
When I first came here, and I was very nervous about everything, basically taking the bus, I remember there was a specific incident where there was like a school trip, and we had to get to Lighthouse Cinema at 7 in the morning, and I didn't know how, and I was nervous. But I feel like to a certain extent, especially when you're as nervous as I was, there isn't really much you can do. But now that I've gone on and like sort of figured out, like set my footing here, I feel like all the support I need is like provided. If I ever do need something, I can message you. So that's great, I think.
Yeah, and I understand, Justina, because I think you don't realise before you get here how probably, when I say alone, but you know, you have a lot of growing up to do when the students arrive here, because you have to depend on yourself.
Yeah.
And you have done that.
I felt like, oh, you're from a city, Dublin is fine. You've taken the bus before. You will be fine. You've gone to school before, you will be fine. But doing everything in a different country, on your own, in a different language, with people you don't know at all on your first day is very nerve-wracking.
Yes. I didn't think though. It gives you an amazing sense of confidence, because when you do something like that, you almost feel you can do anything. Now you can do anything. You know, the fear factor is taken out of a lot of situations. But as long as you feel that you are supported, I mean, I'm your coordinator, so I'm always at the end of the phone, and I'm always there to support my students. And so from these interviews that we have, it's important to sort of gain how I suppose what we need to be more aware of is if there are nervous students, that they may need a little bit of extra TLC to start them off so that they can feel more comfortable. Any suggestions for students that are planning to study here?
Good question. I think I would think about what I would pack. Really?
Yeah.
I remember when I first started in January, I kept being like, oh, you don't have that. Oh, you should have brought to pack that. Because you will be living here for 3 months. Like every mundane scenario where it's like, oh, your glasses are broken and now you don't have a screwdriver, or your lens popped out and you don't know how to get it back. Sometimes that will happen, and like going to the store and getting something is not as easy, and sometimes more expensive than it would be back home. So I would do that. Number 2 is, I can say that from experience, be friends with the Irish people here or people you meet here. Don't be like afraid to talk to people, because I feel like that's what really made me love being here and staying here. It's because I have friends who are like there for me with basically everything. And I love being here with them. So yeah, don't be afraid to make friends and be careful about what you pack.
Thanks so much, Justina, for agreeing to sit down with us. I mean, it's really nice to hear it from a student's point of view, and particularly a student who has done so well on the program.
Thank you.
And extended her program. So, yeah, we must be doing something right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Will you suggest people from your country or like the future students join ISI Dublin?
Oh, definitely. I think it's very worth it. to go abroad to be with ISI because I gained so much from it. I feel like I grew a lot. I'm more confident in myself. I've obviously got my Cambridge too, which is also great.
Yeah. So proud.
Yeah, your parents must be very proud.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sure they were surprised initially when you said you were extending. Like, what?
My mom saw it coming from a mile away. I was on the phone like, oh, everything is so great. I went out with my friends today. Oh, I had so much fun today. Oh, next week I'm going there. It's going to be so much fun. And she was like, oh God, please come back home.
Yeah, no, I mean, they must be terribly proud because you'll be a very different person going home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, more confident, more mature, and more worldly wise. So thanks, Christina, I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're so proud to have you. Thank you, I appreciate it.